Hey guys, my name is Randis. Welcome to a new episode of my art show Randis Albion. Today we'll talk about how to draw or paint noses, and then I will show you how to do it. There isn't really a magic trick or a shortcut how to paint a nose. It's not like you paint on circle, erase half, fold it, and then bam, you get a nose. Nope. If you want a nose, you have to work for it. Many young artists who are into comics, manga, and anime have difficulty painting or drawing noses, even though some may not even realize it. The thing is, and I'm not saying it's bad, it's just that people try to imitate the way their favorite artists draw the noses, and that's where the issues start. The noses are stylized based on the artist's interpretation of the shape. You could draw it like this, or this way. You could draw it like this, or this way, or like so. Really, there are so many different ways how you could stylize it. The shapes are stylized, ergo you call it a style, and emulating a style only works if you can understand why and how the artist stylized it. Many people, however, rather memorize the shapes and then apply those in their own drawings. There is nothing wrong with that in terms of the visual aspect, however, you will not really learn all that much this way, and you run the risk getting used to some bad habits that are later really hard to get rid of. It does not really help much if you memorize how to draw the nose from a couple different angles, because even though the nose is stylized to a simple shape, it still has to be in perspective at every different angle of the head. And there are countless ways to do it. But when you browse some art communities and look at people's galleries, you can often see that the noses all look the same. The nose from the same angle, even though the head angle is changing. Or not. Some people also keep drawing the head always from the same angle. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, you should be drawing whatever makes you happy. But if you want to make progress and if you want to learn something new, you have to learn to step outside your comfort zone and work hard. Work hard and work on things you don't always necessarily enjoy doing.
Oh, hell no!
If you want to do it right, I recommend you to learn how to draw and paint noses. And then you can stylize it the way you want. Okay, let's do it. But first I need a coffee. Okay, so how does it work? In order to explain it, let me first draw the nose in some different angles. This is a very generic nose. It could be both male or female. It is basically a default nose shape that I could adjust to fit all my nose needs. The line work is as well generic. It does not indicate lighting. It merely complements the shape of the nose. This is the style of line work I use when I plan on painting something. For comic style, the line work would be completely different, as it would implicate shadows. I could paint the nose from pretty much any angle from my imagination, and with some practice you will be able to do so as well. Okay, now I will apply some very simple shading to give the nose some more shape. So the first nose on the left shows the nose from the side. The second nose is a 90-degree angle, then from the front, then from the bottom front, and the last one from above. In order to paint the nose from any angle, you first need to understand the shape of the nose. It's really not about looking at thousands of nose pictures. You already know how a nose looks like. You look at noses daily, all your life. You just don't really pay attention to them in a very specific way. You have to feel the shape of the nose in your mind. Now try thinking of a soda can. I'm sure you can easily imagine a soda can, and you can probably rotate it in your mind freely. It's simple. Of course, the can is a very simple shape. Let's try this. Let's paint a simple bowl shape and shade it. Now, I'm certain you could apply shading by yourself from mind, even if you would change the light source, because in your mind you understand the shape and can imagine how it looks like if the light were coming from the side. You see, you would not paint it from memory, you would paint it because you understand how it works. Now, the nose is a more complex shape, and the human body is a lot more complex than that. But in time you will learn to paint it all from mind at will. Our brains are really good at recognizing and stylizing shape, and you can use it to your advantage. It's like recognizing shapes when you look at the clouds, if you know what I mean. In order to understand and imagine the nose from different angles, you could stylize the nose to a much simpler shape like this. Now, I'm certain that you could paint this shape by yourself from any perspective you like, and you could probably apply a shading to this shape as well, not because you memorized it somewhere, it's because you understand the shape. It's a simple shape and you know how it works. Now let's have a closer look at the noses again. Let me stylize the shadow on the underside of the nose to a single shape. This is one way you could stylize the nose in your drawings. Drawing something, especially in a comic style, does not always mean that you have to draw every aspect of the nose. Sometimes you can merely hint the shape by drawing a shadow and the viewer will understand it. There are lots of different ways how you could stylize the nose. Let's try this. I'm sure you have seen a nose drawn in a very similar way in many mangas. As you see, I do stylize the shadow of the nose on the right side to a single shape and the underside of the nose to another shape. I tell you what, many of the professional mangaka come from a traditional art background and they know exactly what they are doing. If the light source here was on the right side, they would have stylized the nose differently, and if the light came from above, they would not have used the large shape on the right side of the nose at all. Okay, now let's stylize the nose shape of the nose next to it. I simplify the line work to a bare minimum and make the nose pointy. It still reads pretty well, and if needed I could apply this to any given perspective of the nose. You could also stylize the nose this way or this way. Here I simply stylize the underside of the nose to a single dark shape. It works really well because in most cases the nose has a cast shadow there. The lines above the nose tip simply complement the shape of the tip of the nose. You could also just draw only the nostrils. Our brains are so familiar with the human face that our mind can simply fill in the nose by using the familiar nostril shape as an anchor point. The mouth is stylized as well. I did not draw the lips but rather the line where the lips meet. And the shape under this line is simply a cast shadow from the lower lip. This is another simple way to stylize the nose if the light was coming from top left. And this is also a very popular way to stylize the nose by simply only drawing the nostrils and a simplified shadow. Now have a look at the nose on the right. This is the most simple way to stylize the nose by drawing the cast shadow. Really many artists use something like this or a variant of this. This really is a very lazy way to draw the nose, and it is so often really wrong because the nose here is in a top-down perspective and yet people keep stylizing it that way even if the head is not. Now let's take another look at the nose from the side view. Let me simplify the shape. As you see, I only use a small number of lines to render the nose. Now in many manga styles the nose are strongly stylized. You could for example make the nose more pointy. This way it is less realistic but still reads well enough. You could simplify the nose even further and leave out the nostrils completely. It would still read well as a nose. As you see, there are two ways you can stylize and draw the nose. The first one is to stylize the line work that indicates the shape of the nose, and the second is to draw a stylized shadow of the nose, or a combination of both. Now when you stylize a nose, please always keep the lighting in your scene in mind. Let me make a quick and simple paint over here. The light blue color indicates where the nose is the brightest, and the dark blue color shows where the shadows would be. On the left nose, the light would be on the top left side. The light in the middle would be located centered and slightly above the nose, so that the cast shadow is not too long. And on the nose on the right, the light comes from below. Learning drawing or painting, it's not about muscle memory, it's not about memorizing shapes or hand-eye coordination. And of course, you need basic training, but most importantly, it's all about understanding the shapes, understanding the light, understanding the physics behind it. The way our brains work, when we look at things, we can track everything, we break down everything into shapes, we memorize it in form of shapes and feelings and emotions. We don't memorize things like photos. We don't have clear mental images stored in our heads of the objects. We store a lot of different information about the object. And then if you want to paint something, you're not trying to remember the shape you once learned. You have to imagine this object, you have to feel the shape, and then you project it onto the canvas, and then you do your best to visualize it with the tools you have. This is painting, this is drawing. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time, and I hope to see you again. If you liked my video, please subscribe and tell your friends, and please let me know what you would like to see in my art channel. Let me know what kind of characters you want me to draw or what kind of things you want me to focus on. I always appreciate feedback. Just post it in the comments, and yeah, feel free to follow me on Facebook, and yeah, see you.